Hey, it's me, Egbert. Egggburt. Check out my website at egbert.com. Now it's back to those two dudes who told me they would bring in big ratings. They better are their history. Here are Brad and John.
John, this show today is going to go down in Brad and John history, okay? You there?
I am here, yeah.
Okay.
In the categories of entendres per minute, or in the case of Brad?
No. In a previous,
boy, I don't even know where to start.
In a previous segment, I referred to Romper Room, which was before your time, and I said that the Miss Lois, she said you had to be a doobie, which in other words you had to do right, okay? And you didn't believe me, okay? Listen to this, John. Listen carefully.
I'm ready.
Okay, this is a minute 22. We'll play the whole thing. Okay, here we go. You ready?
I'm ready.
I always do what's right. I never do anything wrong. I'm a Romper Room doobie, a doobie all day long.
Do be a sidewalk player.
Do be a sidewalk player. Don't be a street player. Don't be a street player.
Do be a car sitter.
Do be a car sitter. Don't be a car stander. Don't be a car stander.
Do be a plate cleaner.
Do be a plate cleaner. Don't be a food fussy. Don't be a food fussy.
Do be a play safe.
Do be a play safe. Don't be a match toucher. Don't be a match toucher.
Sidewalk player.
Sidewalk player.
Car sitter.
Car sitter.
Plate cleaner.
Plate cleaner.
Play safe.
Play safe. Ooh, I always do what's right. I never do anything wrong. I'm a Romper Room doobie, a doobie all day long.
Okay, you ready for that, John?
Magical. Just magical. I have never heard that, Brad. And I knew that Romper Room was a show. Now, was it from the 50s and 60s? Did it end in the 70s?
I think it ended in the 70s. And what was interesting about it was sort of an interesting concept in that it was a syndicated show, but it wasn't. What you did was the local TV stations would, I think the way it worked was they would buy a license from whoever, had the license rights or the copyrights or the trademarks to Romper Room. And then what they would do is they would give you guidelines, and you would hire a local host. You would hire, like here in St. Louis, it was for a long time, it was Miss Lois, okay? And it's interesting because if you go on, this is kind of sad, because if you go on, one of the things when I was doing my research there, when I was on the air supposedly listening to what you were saying, but instead I was intently, looking at stuff like that. There's unfortunately tons of obituaries from Miss So-and-so from this city, Miss So-and-so from this city who are no longer with us, okay? But you had a local host, and there were, I think then I can't remember if it was Channel 2 or Channel 5 that had Romper Room, but then you would pay the fee to them and they would do stuff. And there was collateral stuff, like, for example, I'll send you this video. This video has, the video is the music, but there's a bunch of different things in there, like there's a card that has shows like Mr. Doobie and Mr. Don't Be and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So in other words,
I know what you mean.
You're buying into like a marketing campaign or something like that. Okay, hold on.
So it's like a franchise. You could have like a Romper Room franchise, and you just hire a local host to make bring local kids in and make them feel like it's special.
Exactly. So
and pre-internet, they don't know that they're not special.
Well, one of the things that cracks me up is, don't be a car stander. Now, think about that for a minute.
Yes, okay? I noticed that too, Brad.
Back in the day, you'd drive down a highway, and you'd see kids standing in the front seat of the car. And what's interesting about this is, when you see the video, you see these kids in the front seat of a convertible, and it looks like their mom and their grandma's driving around. I'll go like, okay, let's think about that for a minute. Okay, if mom puts on her brakes real quick and little Susie is standing up in the front seat of the convertible, little Susie is not going to be road pizza. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. What I can't stand in the carpool lane is when parents have their sunroof open And you might be driving slow as you're going through the carpool lane. You might be driving 5 or 10 miles per hour as you're depending on where you are on the route. But kids will stand up and have their head through the sunroof, Brad. Now that's the second worst thing to happen to a carpool lane since Francis House said I can't smoke up in the lane. I mean, if they say that I can't smoke up in the carpool lane, how are they allowing, little Easton or little River to stick their fat head out of the sunroof when it could get chopped off?
Okay, I shouldn't say this, but this is actually sort of funny. I've got a text from Shelley Barr, who happens to be listening this morning.
Yes, nice.
And she said, this is her quote, "I had to watch my S blank blank T, and he is acting like this? Wow."
Wait, who are we talking about?
You!
Wait, what? Can you read that again? I'm sorry, I missed that.
She says, "I had to watch my S blank blank T, and he is acting like this?
Oh,
wow."
Thank you, Shelley.
So in other words,
But hey, remember that Brad is now the straight man, and that's the difference. Shelley was the straight woman. I mean, in multiple ways, right?
Right.
We know she's a fan of the gentleman, but Shelley had to be the straight woman for so long, and Brad was just wacky Brad, and now Brad has to be the one that maintains law and order. Shelley, I loved hearing you completely no-sell Brad stuff, and I always use this as an example, but Brad would be like, "Yeah, Shelley, remember in the 1968 World Series when Curt Flood, when Lou Brock should have slid and Curt Flood told him to and he didn't?" And Shelley'd be like, "No, Brad, I don't remember that very specific piece of baseball. You don't remember Mickey Lolich striking out the side?" And Shelley would be like 10 times in a row, "Brad, I just told you I don't remember Game 6 of the 1968 World Series." "Oh my God, Shelley, what were you doing then?" And that's when Shelley would check out, emotionally in the show. You could always tell when she was like, "Okay, Brad, go on, Brad. Just go on."
Like you, I did that with Shelley for 4 years, okay? And my favorite part of my day was my 2 hours with Shelley, because there were times when, and if I'll tell you right up front, Shelley is, and her and I kid about this, Shelley is a polarizing person, okay? Shelley, you either love Shelley or you don't love Shelley. And I don't want to say hate, because I don't think people hate her, but she is a genuine, good-hearted person. She really is. I mean, she would give you the shirt off her back. She would, if you had, a problem, and I have literally been with her when, eating lunch and something like that, and across the room, a lady is having trouble getting out of her chair because she's an elderly woman. Shelley would get up, walk across the room, help that woman, walk her out to her car. That's the kind of person she is, okay? Yeah. One of these good-hearted people. But the problem is that a lot of people don't like Shelley because of that, which to me is sad.
But I don't understand what there's not to like. They don't like her because she would kind of no-sell some of your bits. Is that what you're saying?
No. Because of the fact that she's a genuine good person, and people think it's like an act. Oh, she just does that because she's in a restaurant. If there were nobody else in the restaurant,
that's not true at all.
Well,
and by the way, how cynical would you have to be? And I consider myself a fairly jaded guy. How cynical would you have to be to see somebody who does good acts and who genuinely lives that way and say, "Oh, it must be fake"? You know that line, "Every accusation is a confession"?
Well, but once again, John, the problem that I have is, and I know you probably deal with the same thing that I deal with. I've seen behind the curtain, okay? I've been in the media business a long time, okay? I've been, unfortunately, directly involved in reality shows. Remember, I was on the Publishers Clearinghouse Prize Patrol.
That's true. And you see the camera version of people versus what they're really like behind the scenes.
Well, I saw the making of what do they always talk about? The making of the sausage. They always talk about there's two things you don't want to see made is sausage and legislation, okay? And when I see somebody who comes, perfect example, okay? I can tell you there's a guy that I worked with here in St. Louis, who was part of a morning team, and I won't say his name, but the other guy was Wall. So put the other word together. Okay, on the air. Hey, I'm your friend. I'm your buddy. I'm the nicest guy in the world. I got a smile in my voice. Microphone goes off. Why did the mic not work right? How come when I touch this control it doesn't work right? Mic goes on. Hey, I'm your friend. I'm your buddy. I'm the nicest guy in the world. Mic off. I can't believe it. Somebody didn't give me the right piece of copy. The copy's wrong. There's a mistake in this. There's a typo in here. It's a typo in here. Get what I'm saying?
I do get it. Now, in his defense, this gentleman, who, by the way, I love the show DB's Delight. That has nothing to do with what you're talking about.
You talked about.
But anyway, this gentleman, Brad, in his defense, the engineers he was yelling at weren't real engineers. They did not have a license. They were not certified as professional engineers, Brad. So he had every right to scream at them.
Well, I got news for you. One of them had.
Oh my goodness!
Actually had his double-E degree from Mizzou and actually was a professional engineer, because that's my old friend Jeff Andrew. But see, the interesting thing about this is the rub with Kamala. Or Kamala, or what I'm starting to hear it both ways. Which way's
She's named after former WWF superstar Kamala.
Okay. See, this is the rub she has, is that she can't keep staff, that she's blows up all the time, she yells and screams, and the interesting thing is they claim she doesn't take her briefings, and the reason she's made some of these goofy, weird statements in some of these interviews is because she doesn't read her briefings. She doesn't, in other words, she doesn't prep herself because, I know everything.
She thinks that she can exist just on talent.
Well, but see, here's the thing that bothers me about Pete Buttigieg. The guy is so slick and so good to the point where if you caught him, let's say if you're driving down the highway and he says, "Well, I'm the Department of Transportation chairman, or I run the Department of Transportation, and I think it's very important that you don't exceed the speed limit. If the speed limit says 55, you're doing 55." And then on the way home from that studio where he did that session, he passes you on the highway doing 90, and you go, hold on a minute now. That guy just said he's the Department of Transportation chairman, and he said there's people killed on the highways, which he's in charge of, because they speed, and he's speeding. And if you pulled up next to him and say, "Hey, Pete, you just went on TV," and say, "Well, that's because I have inverse proportional relationship to my clients who are and I'm was actually chasing a jet, and I was trying to see if the tail was falling off, because I was going to get on my bat phone and call the air traffic controllers and tell that jet to come back to land at Lambert because of the fact that its tail was going to come off. So that's why I was speeding." Get what I'm saying? He's that kind of a slickster.
And he should have just told the truth, which is that he was trying to keep pace with Shelley Barr on the Page Avenue extension. Can we go back to Shelley for a minute? What a wonderful human being. How great is it that Shelley will occasionally listen to our show, Brad? I'm serious. I'm not being sarcastic.
Hold on a minute.
I enjoyed your guys' show for so many years. It's how I got to know you, and it's how I got to know Shelley.
Hold on a minute. Let's see if she answers the phone.
Hello?
You're on the air, so no potty mouth, okay?
Are you calling me?
Yes, you're on the air.
Hello?
You're on. Hold it. Oh, now do you hear me? You're on the air, so no potty mouth, okay?
Oh, I have to watch my mouth now? Oh, okay. Hi, John.
Hi there, Shelley.
What's up?
Oh, so are your ears burning or what?
Yes, they are.
So
little torches.
So any rebuttal you want to give right now?
Oh, no. Not on the air.
Is John your buddy or what?
He is my buddy. He is.
So you...
Paybacks are a lot.
So you don't have anything to essentially to contradict anything we said on the air?
Everything you said on the air, I contradict today.
I'm not me saying you're such a nice person. How I've watched you help people. I've watched you get up in a restaurant, help people, get in their walkers and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, I do that, but most everybody does.
They don't. They don't. They don't do that.
But you're right. I am polarizing.
Well, but once again,
that's a genetic thing. My father was polarizing.
Well, but once again, and you and I have talked about this. There are people that think you're a phony. don't they?
They do.
And
Yes, they actually do. And even when I worked for the government, they thought that as well.
which is really sad. Okay, bye, Shelley.
Bye. I feel so good. Thank you all for just, being so wonderful. And wow.
And you too, John, right?
And you too, John. And you too, Brad.
Bye,
Bye,
Shelley.
guys.
Okay.
Love ya. Peace.
Okay. Oh, John.
That was so funny.
And we just had the most unbelievable show of it. You always say
That was really good. Yeah, it's very impromptu.
but
I mean, it was all very impromptu.
do you think for a minute, if you and I bought an hour on KWMU, how far in do you think they would be offering a refund to us to get us off the air? Oh my God, they're ruining our station!
We would like to apologize for the previous content we did not approve. The content that was played here. Keep joining us as we have biracial, transgender, handicapped story hour starting at 11 a.m. You're listening to St. Louis Public Radio.
And do you think Jason Rosenbaum will still be our friend after this, or do you think he's already?
I think he listens to our show and takes a little hit of fentanyl and thinks, man, I gotta have something to listen with if I subjected myself to Comvest and Brad.
This is not like listening to Click and Clack, the Tappet Brothers, right? Okay.
That's not.
Okay, John, we have gone way over this morning, but I'm telling you, it's been worth every second of it. You know what? If today I die, this is the show I want playing on my tombstone, okay?
Oh, me too. And I'm gonna play a Phil Cristofanelli commercial straight from 97.1 in your honor, Brad.
Thanks for checking out the Brad and John Show podcast. This segment of the show is brought to you by John Combest's book, Stalking, Harassment, Internet Trolling, A Guide to Recovering and Rebuilding After Online Attacks. It's a great reference if you've ever been the unfortunate target of a social media attack. It's available on Amazon. Just search John Combest. That's Combest, John Combest, and the book will show up in your search results. Now it's time for another segment of the Brad and John Show. Can you handle it?